Hello, this is Daniel from soundheadquarters.com. In today's episode, we are building this beautiful acoustic diffuser, and I'm going to show you step by step the entire process from cutting the blocks, sanding the blocks, arranging them and gluing them up, getting the diffuser painted, getting the frame built and stained, building the mount, all the way to installing this on our client's wall. And come along with us for the journey so that you can build your own acoustic diffuser. So let's get right into it. So we are starting off with our lumber. We are using 2x2x8 lumber, which you can see right here. And you can see that square profile on the 2x2 lumber. So we're gonna go ahead and start getting our blocks cut. So I'm using a stop block here and a clamp so I can be repeating all of my cuts. So I'm getting my 4-inch blocks cut first. So I set my stop block up to 4 inches, make sure that it's cutting exactly how I need it to, and then I can repeat all of those cuts. While I'm cutting, I have Christian here sanding the blocks, and we're just sanding off the cut marks, so that way these blocks are nice and able to glue up right next to each other without any burrs sticking out of them that would impede the glue up. So now we're moving on to our 3-inch blocks, and once again, just moving that stop block to 3 inches and just lots of cutting and sanding. This process really helps to have 2 people so that one person can be sanding while the other person is cutting. This helps save a lot of time during the diffuser prep process. Now we're moving on to our 2-inch blocks. So once again, just moving that stop block, and I just always test with my measuring tape to make sure that the blocks are exactly at the inch dimension that we need them to before I tightly secure down my stop block with the clamp and continue all of my cuts. And it's important for us to have these cuts be repeatable. That way, when there's a 1-inch block next to a 1-inch block, for example, they all sit at the exact same height. And now that our diffuser prep is done, here is our backing board. This is just 3/4 inch plywood that I had cut just over to our desired size of 5 feet by 3 feet. And we've got all of our blocks ready, and this is everything we need for the glue up. So we need a nice straight edge, a carpenter's square, our wood glue, and here is the pattern. I will link it in the description of the video, but you can also pause the video right here. That is the pattern that we're gonna be following for this glue up. Now, anywhere that there is a 0, that just means that there's no block. So right now I'm going along the factory edge of the plywood and getting that very first row glued in. And I can just repeat that row as soon as those blocks are all done in the pattern. I just repeat it from the beginning. So there you can see it's important for us to get this first row glued up perfectly straight with that factory edge of the plywood. This is going to ensure that every subsequent row that we glue in and we align with the straight edge and the square butts up nicely up against that completely straight factory edge. This helps us ensure that as we glue up the diffuser moving down the pattern, that each line is totally straight and in line with the corresponding row above. Now I'm just going ahead and getting all of these blocks glued in. And just using regular carpenter's glue, just regular wood glue here, and putting some glue onto the block and gluing it down and making sure that all the blocks are nice and straight, and then just gently pressing them, making sure that it's making firm contact with the backing board so that when that glue sets up, it's nice and strong. So here you can see the final glue up is done, and we have that extra lip on both sides that we need to cut off. And I like to leave a little bit of extra space there so I can cut it completely flush at the end of the process. So here my dad helping me out there with cutting the blocks, or cutting the diffuser to the final size. We just used a straight edge and a circular saw to cut to the final size. And then I'm just cleaning up that cut with an electric planer and a sander. And here you'll see the final dimensions of the diffuser. So our final size that this client ordered was 5 feet by 3 feet. And our size of the diffuser right here is just shy of 5 feet by 3 feet because our frame is gonna account for that extra 1.25 inches to get us to our final dimension. Now here's the lumber we are using to build our frame. This is 1x6x8 knotty pine. That is a gel stain and the wall color of my client's living room that he wanted the diffuser painted to match. Now, to build this frame, we are just making sure that we're accounting for that extra bit of space of the wood frame, because the top and bottom long pieces need to be 1.25 inches wider to account for the vertical pieces of the frame. I'm using a 16 gauge brad nailer to nail these together. Now I'm only doing 2 nails per corner right now because this is just a mock-up. I purposely make the frame about 1/4 inch larger than it needs to be. That way I can test fit it and see exactly how much I need to cut off to get a nice and snug fit. Because this frame is just a press fit, it just slides right onto onto the diffuser, as you'll see right now. So I always make it just a little bit big on purpose right at the beginning. So then, as you'll see on this close-up right now, I can see exactly how much I need to trim off. So you can see right here, we had just about a little bit over 1/4 inch on that side. So I can go ahead and just take off my top and bottom pieces of the frame, trim them, and get it reassembled again. And when I reassemble the frame, I put 6 nails into each corner. And there you can see the test fit again. Now we have a nice snug fitting frame. Now I'm just making myself some wood filler using the sawdust from cutting the frame and all of the diffuser, mixed up with a little bit of wood glue, and that creates our wood filler, just to fill in these nail holes from nailing together the frame. And as that dries, we are going to paint the diffuser, and once it's dry, we can sand off that wood filler and be ready to stain the frame. So I'm just using my spray gun that'll connect to my air compressor, and we're using a shade of navy blue. This is color matched to the client's existing living room wall where this diffuser will be mounted. So I'm just going ahead and making sure I get every nook and cranny painted. And at this stage, it's important to kind of move the diffuser around so you can see how the light is hitting it in different angles to make sure that we're not leaving any portion of it unpainted. So there's the diffuser all painted up, and it is ready to dry while we work on staining the frame. So before we stain the frame, I'm just going ahead and sanding off where I added the wood filler, just to make sure we have a nice surface ready for stain. Now we used this black gel stain. The client wanted to have the frame be as black as possible, but without, while still seeing some wood grain coming through. So we decided on this black gel stain. I usually use oil-based stains. We put on this gel stain and we really didn't achieve the finish we were looking for, and it was quite splotchy and streaky, so we did end up sanding off that finish and applying an oil-based stain with an oil-based stain in ebony color. So now we're going ahead and getting the mount for the diffuser built. I'm using a 2x6 piece of lumber cut just a few inches shy of the final width of the diffuser, and you can see my settings on the table saw there. What we're building right here is called a French cleat. So I'm cutting this 2x6 right down the center on a 45-degree angle, and there you can see the French cleat. So one side is going to screw into the wall, and the other side is going to screw into the back side of the diffuser, and then it is just going to slot right in there, and the weight of the diffuser is going to keep it totally secure on the wall. Here is the client's living room where this diffuser is going to be mounted. Now this wall is a shared wall with the neighboring house, so it is a concrete wall. So we need to make sure that we use concrete anchors and a masonry bit with my hammer drill. So what I'm doing here is I'm marking off the center of the wall, and now I can mark off about 6 inches down the top of the diffuser where I'm going to be mounting one side of the French cleat. And what I'm doing here is I'm marking off in the row where I'm going to screw the French cleat in, where there's either no block or a 1-inch block, because I'm using 3-inch construction screws, and if I screw through an area that has no block or has a 1-inch block, then the screw tip is going to pop through the front face of the diffuser, and we don't want that. So I'm just going ahead and marking out all those X's, and that is where I know not to screw. Now I also screwed in just some small spacers on the bottom left and right hand sides of the diffuser there that you can see. And those are just scrap pieces just to make sure that when we hang this diffuser on our French cleat, that it is nice and equally spaced off of the wall in all directions. Now we can go ahead and get our French cleat screwed into the wall. So I had the client sit down on the couch and see kind of what height we need this diffuser to be at. And now this is all of the anchoring that we're using. These are the Cobra taps, the concrete anchors that we're using. There is the bit that comes with it, and I'm using a hammer drill. So I set up my laser level where I need my French cleat to go, and I just went ahead and pre-drilled equal spacing holes all the way down my French cleat. So now I can get my cleat set up right on that laser level line and just go ahead and get all of these concrete anchors put in. I did the far left and far right ones first, just to make sure I was totally on, and then put the other 9 into the mount. And then it's simply, it's as simple as just lifting the diffuser on. So it's good to have 2 sets of hands for that, because they are very heavy once they are all finished up. And there you can see the diffuser on the wall, and now we are ready for the stain. So I didn't videotape me sanding off the existing stain and adding on the ebony oil-based stain, but I did film myself putting on this clear coat. This is a semi-gloss clear coat, the same clear coat we used on the slat wall in our previous video. for the same client. And here you can see it's as simple as that frame just literally sliding on, and then the frame sits nice and flush with the wall, and that hides the mount of the diffuser. So that way you can't see the mount, you just see the nice frame sitting flush against the wall, and just kind of gives that nice floating effect and nice finishing touch for the diffuser there. So here are some nice glamour shots of the diffuser installed on the wall. You can see that nice touch of just color matching this diffuser to the client's existing wall color, just to help it blend in a little bit and make it not so much of a popping feature in the room. Just the shape in general of the diffuser does that already. So these clients wanted a more kind of subtle paint scheme for this diffuser, and I totally agree with their choice. I think it looks great in this room, and really hope you guys enjoy following along, watching. This has been Daniel from soundheadquarters.com. Peace out.